We never know where life will lead us or what may hinder us along the way. But while every day can feel like one big question mark, it doesn't have to. With the right insights, strategies, and solutions from Western and Southern Financial Group, together we can look ahead to leave the unknown behind.
Do you even want to discuss the Tuesday games?
Not really. They were
gross.
I mean, pretty much as expected. I mean, Washington had no one. They started Garrett Gilbert. Wasn't even on the roster last week. Might as well start Kendall Hinton. No, he was a little bit better than that, but it
wasn't terrible. It wasn't like
really
awful.
Wasn't, but they kind of played out, I would say, as expected in both.
What's going on with Russell Wilson, though? Like, is Russell Wilson cooked? He goes 17 of 31 for 156 and a pick in this game, took 3 sacks as well. One of the lowest graded games we've seen from him this season. The let Russ cook movement is dead. Like, it's not even being brought up anymore. And I know the Seahawks season has been bad from the jump, but man, like Russell Wilson, this like perennial top 6 quarterback in the NFL, has not looked apart in a while.
Yeah, and that's such a weird thing. It's like he looked so good to start the year. And finger injury has looked like ass since. Like complete, like terrible. Like his numbers have been atrocious. He hasn't had a 300-yard game since then. And it's not even like he's throwing picks. He's kind of just like holding on the ball, not even like throwing the ball down the field. I don't know. It's difficult to describe, but we have enough sort of data to suggest that it probably is still related to the injury, or there's more going on behind the scenes than just Russ is not washed at this point. He's still an elite quarterback, but shit, he is not playing like it ever since that injury.
Are you buying the Rams as deep postseason contenders?
The hell was that?
Sorry, I don't know.
Jesus. The Rams deep postseason contenders? Yeah. I think like I said, whoever gets the 1 seed has a massive leg up in the NFC, but that top tier of teams, which is 5 teams, 2 in the NFC West, and then the division leaders in the North, South, and East, all have a very good shot. I mean, it's really going to be matchup based at that point. Like there are certain teams I think match up well against certain other teams in that group, and vice versa. So, yeah, I really do think the NFC is wide open as opposed to the AFC that kind of looks a little more top heavy.
I want to say the AFC is top heavy, but every time I do, Colts fans want to fucking kill me.
Yeah, well,
you got Chiefs, Patriots, who I think you're both buying those as contenders. Colts, Chargers, Bills. And you could even throw the Bengals in there. Bengals are 8-6, currently the 4 seed. Like,
I was going to say there's a Bengals fan back here that wants to kill you.
The only team I don't like that's currently of the 7 that would be in the playoffs if the playoffs start today is probably the Titans. Because the Titans are just injury plagued and they don't have Julio Jones has been banged up, AJ Brown's been banged up, and they don't have Derrick Henry probably until the playoffs, if not through the playoffs. So all of those other teams have proved me wrong at some point this season, if not proved me wrong multiple times. I think the top heaviness for either conference isn't there, right? It has been such a perilous season. Cardinals losing to the fucking Lions. You have Cowboys. Remember that Cowboys stinker against the Broncos? Like that no one saw coming. I'm interested in just how much the good teams prevail in the playoff picture. If we get some shocking one and dones, like Patriots go one and done or Cardinals go one and done, it would be one of the more perilous seasons I think we've seen in a long time. Jalen Hurts. I wanted to finish the Tuesday games with the Jalen Hurts conversation. A lot of people want to back Jalen Hurts. A lot of people don't want to take a quarterback in the draft. And I know they have
bring this up every week.
I don't bring this up every week.
You bring it up every week. We do not have to keep talking about Jalen Hurts and if he's the guy. We really don't. We really have 3 more weeks, and more likely than not, like I said on the last show, with the schedule they have going into the playoffs, they will likely make the playoffs. I believe they are in the driver's seat now for the 7th seed, for my money. We have a lot of time to talk about this.
All right.
And with where they'll be drafting, with all 3 of those picks now being in the teens, it's not like they're getting the top quarterback on the draft board or in the position to do so. So I think we don't have to talk about it right now yet again. That's all I'm saying.
Fine. We won't talk about it. Jalen Hurts played well in this game.
He played well, but that was a defense that lost William Jackson early in that game. He had a lot of layups. Now he's progressing. Like, he's looked good for certain, and he is a big key to that running game. But I think I've said my piece of we've yet to see stretches of elite football. We've seen competent football. Everyone has the bad games that we saw from a couple weeks ago against the Giants, but we still haven't seen elite 4 stretches. That's what I want to see.
I think that is probably the best way to sum it up. Maybe I'll never bring it up again.
Please.
49ers at Titans is
Wait, before we get into this, we said on the Catch and Early Buzz here a week back, we said about how we signed a habit contract.
Yeah.
And that you weren't living up to it.
It's been terrible.
You owe me, I think, over $1,000 at this point with all the days you've missed. So in the spirit of that, I'm waiving your debts in the holiday spirit and trying to get you back on track. So I have a little something for you. I have pre-workout for
Wow.
you as an early Christmas gift
Wow.
to try to get you back on track.
You got me
there.
pre-workout. Should I take a scoop right now?
Hold it up.
Take a
Let me
scoop
see
right
it.
now.
I'll take a scoop right now. Got the pre-workout. Renner's trying to get me back on track, and I'm going to take a scoop with coffee.
Do a line.
I've never done a line.
How many BCAAs are in that bad boy?
All right, I'm doing
Don't
it
put
with
it in
coffee.
your coffee.
How many
I'm going to
BCAAs
take
per
it and
scoop?
then chase it with coffee right now.
Yeah, how many BC? I don't know. It's got.
It's all about the
It is
BCAAs,
infused with
bro.
BCAAs. Oh, it's just a dry
There
scoop.
it is.
All over the sweatshirt. Fantastic. This is gonna be the best part yet.
That was fire.
The best part about it is you told him to do a line. It looks like he did a line because it's all over his sweatshirt and his
Yeah.
face.
You're getting kicked out of the bar here.
Wow. Powdery Christmas
It's
it
good
is.
stuff.
I'm back. 49ers Titans. Wow, that shit is fucking
It's good.
aggressive.
The amino energy.
49ers Titans. Thank you for getting that.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Of course.
I'm getting back on track. I am. So for those paying attention to the habit contract, I weighed the day I did this habit contract 199 pounds. I almost killed myself. I was almost 200 pounds at 5'9". I mean, that's like Jalen Richard, and Jalen Richard is like jacked,
yeah.
you know, like DeAndre Washington back in the day, and they're like 5'9", like 210, 215, but they're jacked. I was like a 5'9" doughboy. Now I'm officially 184, so we're down some poundage.
You're holding up the diet end of the bargain.
Yeah, I'm
which
holding
is the
up the
bigger,
diet.
the
Yeah.
biggest end of the bargain.
The diet's
at the end of the
everything.
day.
Diet's everything. I've been doing some intermittent fasting. I haven't been eating a lot. I've been starving myself at night. It's been tough. No, it's been tough, but I'm 184. So 199 to 184. Quinn's been doing such a great job with the graphics. Maybe he'll we'll get like a little graph of the scale and how it's going. I'll update every single pod. I'm 182. I'm 181. Last night I had a feast. I'm 189. Again, whatever. But the pre-workout has me fucking feeling good. I'm ready to rock and roll. Chasing it with coffee, I think, is illegal in some states.
I thought you were going to put it in the coffee. That's what I was like, do not do that.
That would have ruined my coffee.
Yeah.
All right, 49ers and Titans, what everyone came to the podcast for. Titans are 3.5-point dogs at home. We have talked about the Titans like the redheaded stepchild for a while. Like, oh man, they're so injured. Oh, they're so shit. They're not winning any games. But they aren't playing well. 82% of the cash is backing San Francisco this week. Titans are still injury plagued on both sides of the ball. Julio now battling the infamous Julio hamstring. You have A.J. Brown still on the injured reserve. Derrick Henry obviously still out. Their offensive line has also been banged up. Like, the Titans have not struck any luck on the injury side of things. And San Francisco is on like the opposite end of the spectrum. San Francisco is fucking rolling. Jimmy G ranks second in EPA per play, completion percentage over expected composite on the season, I believe, right behind Aaron Rodgers. He has been phenomenal. I love their skill players. I said that in the last pod. Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, all cooking, all at the right time. I think the 49ers go on the road and cover the 3.5. I think this number 2 might blow up a little bit. 82% of the cash on San Francisco early week. I think you could see this number get to 4, 4.5, 5, especially as it cruises through non-key numbers.
Yeah, so A.J. Brown could be back this week, and that could swing it to the Titans' favor. But to me, that's the only way this swings in the Titans' favor. If you're sending out that 3 wide, if you don't have A.J. Brown, you don't have Julio Jones, you don't have Derrick Henry, you do not have your offense. And you kind of need your offense.
You do.
In today's NFL. That's a big part of the game. It's half the game. Or a third of the game if you count special teams. But especially against this 49ers team that, like you said, is rolling offensively. Jimmy G, highest graded quarterback since week 8. Now, obviously a lot of that is they're back at full strength with all those weapons. And Brandon Ayuk, like I said on this past week's pod, is looking very good. Is getting open. Deebo Samuel.
I think he is a better vertical route runner. I mean, maybe not
he's
better.
More explosive down the football field.
He's a very good vertical route runner, and how they leverage him compared to how they leverage Deebo Samuel. I think Kyle Shanahan has a type at receiver. I think he has a type for skill player, right? It's these guys that can are just uber explosive and can create wild separation in tight spaces. That's what Samuel is, Ayuk is, and even Kittle at the size that he is. And I think they're even Jawan Jennings, right? Like Jawan Jennings, it's what they wanted Jalen Hurd to be when they drafted Jalen Hurd. Yeah. The type that he has at skill player is working so well for this offense. Yeah.
So I believe in the 49ers in this one.
I believe in you. Dude, this I'm ready for this thing to hit because I'm feeling pretty solid. The amino energy is hitting. Browns at Packers. Packers favored by 7. You're in attendance for this game.
I'll be there.
You so graciously invited me to your Christmas, and you're doing the Christmas in Lambeau with your family. I had to turn it down because I got a bunch of work stuff, but I wanted to shout you out on the pod. That was very generous of you. It would have been sweet.
Now, only if the Packers win. If it wouldn't have been, you would have seen.
So what I have in my notes here is that since you're there, it's an automatic L. I don't think it's going to be a dub. No, I'm kidding. The Browns are going to be coming off a short week. They played on Saturday, and now they're playing they played on Monday, and now they're playing Saturday again. Garrett questionable with the groin. You saw him banged up in that Raiders game. And then they need a whole bunch of talent to come off the COVID list. Baker, the other quarterbacks that they have, Kareem Hunt, etc. They need a ton of talent to come off the COVID list. I don't like this Browns team on a short week. I think they lose, and I think Packers cover the 7. I would not be surprised if this number grows a bit and gets out to maybe a 7.5 and you feed them the hook just because it is a short week for the Browns. I think that could be a reason it's backed. But the line did open at 7.5, got bet up to 8.5, and is now back to 7. So it'll be interesting to see how this line kind of progresses forward. And I think a lot of it will be how the Browns come out of this just injury disaster that they have.
I think the last time I was actually in attendance and the Packers lost a football game was 2013 playoffs against the 49ers. The field goal at the last second, Colin Kaepernick. So I feel good about my chance of them winning. I don't feel great about the chance of the Packers covering them.
Okay.
7's a lot against a team that, the Browns looked like ass this past week because they missed every single player offensively. But this offensive line is going to give this Packers defensive line fits when back at full strength, getting Jedrick Wills back. They will be able to run the ball against this Packers defense, and that's kind of been the secret sauce against the Packers, is getting them out of those too high looks. And I think the Browns will very easily be able to do that with the running game. So I'm a little worried about that. And I'm a little worried about Yosh Nijman going up against Myles Garrett. So give me the Browns to cover as an emotional hedge.
I like an emotional hedge. The last Raiders game I went to, and it was the last Raiders game in Oakland, I went with my dad. My dad got completely obliterated.
Nice.
And I followed suit. It was the Raiders-Cowboys game where Derek Carr did the infamous dive and fumbled into the fucking end zone, and we lost. It was so Jeff Heath forced that fumble. I remember my dad can't really see because he's blind from the liquid courage, and he's like, "What happened?" I was like, "We're fucked." I was like, "Dad, we're screwed. It's over." It was not a fun ride back. We took Bart back. If you go to a Raiders, no, you can't. You can't go to a Raiders game in Oakland. You can't go to a Raiders game in Oakland. But if you could turn back the time, never drive.
Go to
take
A's
Bart.
game.
Go to an A's game while they're there. Never drive. Take Bart, because Bart, Bay Area Railroad Transit is everything. It's everything. You get the vibes. You get the people on Bart who are a little scary. It's all about it. And when you get off Bart, there was this lady, or at least she used to be there, who would sell dollar churros that they were size of 3 forearms. They were hot. But
that's like going to Soldier. Never try to drive into Soldier Field in Chicago. Always go park somewhere else.
You know what we got to do one time? Take this pod on the road. Me and you head out to the Bay Area. We catch a Warriors game. We catch an A's game. Hang out with Vinny G, Papa Gayle, and see where things takes us. I'd be down. I've only driven through. I've never actually been. Dude. You know what's crazy is I don't think I've been and stayed. I haven't visited my family in a long time, whatever. But I haven't been there as an adult. It's like hometown, right? But being there as an 18-year-old plus person is way different than obviously the experience I had when I was a kid. Could do more drugs. No, I'm just kidding. Lions at Falcons. Falcons favored by 5.5. One,
You missed the Colts-Cardinals.
oh, I missed the Colts-Cardinals. I'm going to skip it and then go back to it because
right.
it's a big game. Lions at Falcons. This game obviously is not between playoff contenders. Falcons, though, are still favored by 5.5. The 5.5 against a Dan Campbell that I think is like 9-5 against the spread this year. He has been phenomenal at keeping the Lions in games. Dan Campbell is the dog you need in your life on Christmas. And here's a stat for you. Here's a little cheeky stat. Goff in a dome this year, 62.7 PFF grade. Not in a dome, 58.7. Feed me Goff in a dome. That little difference there. I think they cover. They might win, dude. Falcons are good. Falcons are shit this year.
Terrible stat, man. Here's a better stat for you. The Lions have a better point differential than the Falcons this year.
Wow, that is a better stat.
That is a better stat. Yeah, they're on the road, but I think they're legitimately playing as well, if not better, than the Falcons of late. Mm-hmm. I'll take the Lions in this. That's a big ass number. This was the first. This is the one number this week that I was like, that one just like didn't compute.
Yeah,
like, that one I didn't see the rationale. This one should have been like a 3.
I think there's another number later that I think is a little ridiculous.
Did not compute.
A little ridiculous, but we'll get down there. This is one of the games of the weekend, dude. Colts at Cardinals. This is the other Saturday game, the other Christmas Day game.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome. Cardinals opened as 1.5-point favorites over the Colts at home. They've been bet down now to just a half-point favorite, nearly a pick. These are two teams that have gone on this podcast and other shows as well and faded. I have not joined the Red Sea. I have not joined the blue steel curtain in Indy. I think that's it. Cardinals' run defense is horrendous, as evidenced by their absolutely disastrous showing against the Detroit Lions and the Kutztown guy, Craig Reynolds. They're 15th in EPA per play allowed per rush on the season. I think bottom 10 over the last 5 weeks. On the other side, Matt Eberflus, absolutely in his bag right now. He has a top 5 defense in EPA per pass allowed. He's been limiting offenses, and the Cardinals are down. DeAndre Hopkins isn't playing in this game. Antoine Wesley is playing in this game. This Cardinals offense is struggling to overcome that. I like their run game. Like, I think James Conner and Chase Edmonds had some success against Detroit, but they're going to need to throw to this one. And I think Eberflus bottles down the Red Sea, and the Colts win. I'm backing the Colts fans. I've been mean to the Colts all year long. I have not put my faith in this run game and this defense because Carson Wentz is ass, but I don't think they need Carson Wentz to play well in this one to win. And I think Jonathan Taylor rolls against a bad Cardinals run defense, and Eberflus shows up against Kyler Murray.
Yeah, Cliff needs a bounce back game. Cliff Kingsbury, that is. Like, he needs to prove his worth in this one because his game plan for dealing without DeAndre Hopkins was to give Antoine Wesley 64 snaps. And we've talked about how that offense has very defined roles for the wide receivers, and that's why DeAndre plays left wide receiver exclusively, almost like barely moves around. Unlike a lot of the top guys in the NFL nowadays, who they move around so that you can avoid double teams. They don't do that in Arizona. But he has to be a little more flexible. You have to be a little more flexible because you have to get better personnel on the field. You cannot give Antoine Wesley 64 snaps and give Rondale Moore a half dozen or a dozen. That does not compute from a talent perspective. So we shall see. From what I saw the last week, they give me no reason to be encouraged that they will. No reason for optimism. So I'm going to go Colts, and I like Colts big in this one. But they need Cardinals need Zaven Collins big time in this game. This is why they drafted him, is to stop teams like this.
Yeah,
because Cardinals have the eighth worst running.
Zaven Collins meeting Jonathan Taylor in the hole.
Yeah,
I want to see that. Both with a full head of steam, both square to the line of scrimmage. Mm-hmm. I want to see it. I think this might be the pre-workout. I'm a little scatterbrained, but there was something we missed on the Tuesday slate of games. Cooper Kupp, I think, now has over 1,500 yards. I think he's on pace now to be in rarefied air with Calvin Johnson to break the receiving yards record.
Put him on bus watch last week, Hall of Fame watch.
That's true. It's true. I think we got to give Cooper Kupp his due.
We did. We've said he's on like this legitimate path. He had a 4-year stretch start his career that was good as far as top first 4-year stretches go. Mm-hmm. But now it's this sort of prime stretch the next 4 years. If he puts together this kind of numbers, 1,625 yards and 14 touchdowns already, 122 catches. Those are insane numbers for one season, and he has 3 games left. So if he gets up over, he breaks Calvin Johnson's record, he probably only needs 3 or 4 more like elite years, and I think he's in the Hall of Fame conversation.
and we were just talking Jonathan Taylor. We feel like they're going to roll against Arizona. He's minus 110, Jonathan Taylor, to win Offensive Player of the Year. Cooper Kupp is also minus 110. It's a two-dog race. No other player is more than plus 3,500. It's going to be either Taylor or Kupp who wins this award. Where would you lean right now?
Yeah, I mean, those two are...
Which is so much of a better conversation, by the way, than the fucking MVP one. Like, with Michael Silver, like, what are we doing here if Cooper Kupp's not involved? Or Jonathan Taylor needs to be in the MVP conversation. Let them win Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah. Truthfully, it's Trent Williams. Trent Williams has been the Offensive Player.
Okay,
He's
cool.
been the best.
You think you're
There's my hipster PFF take.
Nice.
It's really the offensive line.
I think Sam Monson tweeted that.
No one's heard about. I watch football more than you. No.
You know who needs to be it is Creed Humphrey. Creed Humphrey deserves Offensive Player and Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, but of those two,
watched
between
the tape.
those two, that one's fucking tough. I mean, I think
Who would you rather have for the next 5 years?
Cooper Kupp.
Yeah. I think that's who you give it to.
All right.
Cooper Kupp.
Give it to Cooper.
Give it to Coop. I think that Colts fans are going to hate me again. Colts fans, I'm sorry. I'm joining the Red Sea. Or wait, with the blue steel curtain. On back to the games. Bucks, Panthers. Yikes. Panthers are 11-point dogs at home. Now, I backed the Bucks as 11 and a half, 12-point favorites over the Saints, and they didn't even score a point in that game, and they lost 9-0. However,
we really didn't go into depth about how much of that was just like one of the worst losses any sort of playoff Super Bowl contender has like ever had.
Yeah.
That didn't lose their quarterback, because they lost Chris Godwin for the season, Mike Evans for the foreseeable future, Levante David for the foreseeable future,
and not
Leonard
the season.
Fournette season. Yeah, these guys are all likely for the season outside of Godwin, who's definitely for the season, and Leonard Fournette. Like one
Godwin's
game
also out for the playoffs.
to not score a point, to lose all those guys is absolute insanity. That was a fucking...
Remember before the year? So remember before the year we would go like, what's the Achilles heel or how did the Bucks lose?
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, well, they could survive injuries. It's just an injury to Tom Brady. Well, losing Evans, Godwin, Levante David, Leonard Fournette, Antoine Winfield still questionable with injury. He didn't play in that game. Jamel Dean questionable with an injury. Richard Sherman has battled injuries. They have been hurt across the board. When you get injuries like this bad down the stretch, especially at key positions, this could be the chink in their armor. I mean, this could ultimately, bring them down and keep them from being Super Bowl favorites.
Yeah. See, I hate this line though, because 11 points, Bucks are still the much better football team.
Yeah.
And I watched Cam Newton play quarterback last week.
It wasn't good?
And so any other team, I would be like, 11 points, that's too much. Like, they don't have enough offensively. Now they get Antonio Brown back, but it's still, I don't think they're going to look, you just aren't going to look the same when you lose that level of talent. But the Panthers, do I trust them to score 10 points this week? No,
Yeah.
I don't. I don't trust them to score 10 points. So I'm going to go Buccaneers.
So the Bucks are no longer Super Bowl favorites. I wanted to check in on that. Chiefs are plus 450. Packers are plus 450. Those are the two Super Bowl favorites tied right now. Let's go.
What's up?
Bucks are plus 650. Patriots are plus 900 with the fourth best odds, which I think is that's a butt bet. That's a cheeks bet right there. I think my favorite bet of this, Chargers plus 3,000.
That's good. I like that.
Chargers are plus 3,000 to win the Super Bowl behind the Titans at plus 2,500. That makes no sense to me. I like the Chargers plus 3,000 if you're betting Super Bowl bets here. Anyway, I'm going to bet the Bucks too because everyone talked about, you don't want to face Belichick off a loss. Tom Brady spiked a Microsoft Surface into the turf in this loss against the Saints. I think he bounces back here for social media efforts alone, right? Like his social media is probably down this week, down in impressions per post, down in retweets, all that stuff.
And one thing about the Chargers,
Let's see what Tom Brady has tweeted.
We hasn't really been discussed, or like will be big for them down the stretch, and plus 3,000. Why I kind of like that bet. They still should get Brian Bulaga back this season, and the difference between Brian Bulaga and Storm Norton is massive. Like they go from that. If you get Brian Bulaga into that offensive line, it could be a top 5 to 10 offensive line in the NFL. So something to keep in mind. He's been practicing since late November. Still not sure when he'll end up playing, kind of like David Bakhtiari with Packers.
Dude, Tom Brady's down bad right now. His latest tweet might have the worst copy he's ever had in a tweet. Honestly, it's like a clip from a podcast that looks like it was shot on a flip phone. Honestly, I spike 3 tablets a week working on the New York Times mini crossword. Need to get it under control.
No.
That is the worst copy I've seen from the Brady account in years. Tom Brady's down. It's over.
Dude,
We're screwed.
social media guy is even hurting.
Dude, he's hurting. Honestly, I spike 3 tablets a week working on the New York Times mini crossword. Need to get it under control.
That's like a classic I'm not owned.
That's so poop.
I'm not mad.
That is so poop.
That's also showing his age too, like the New York Times crossword. That's like my mom does that.
Oh, Tom Brady, Quinn's mom. Who would you rather have in the Super Bowl? It's a good question. All right, Ravens, Bengals. Bengals favored by 2.5. Guess what I'm doing? I'm fading the Cincy jungle. I don't think they win this one. Zach Taylor's offense will not throw more than 50% of the time against one of the worst secondaries in football right now, who's down Marlon Humphrey, down Marcus Peters. They're starting a guy who wears number 17 at corner. It's bad. And Zach Taylor still won't take advantage of it. He'll feed a banged-up Joe Mixon, who's questionable in this game with an injury. Feed me Tyler Huntley, earning a starting gig elsewhere in this game as 2.5-point dog on the road.
Burrow carves up man coverage, and they have one of the best receiving cores in the league to get open against man coverage.
They just won't throw it, though. You're forgetting a key piece.
I understand that key piece. Even if it's just on third downs, though, I still trust the Bengals in this one. I like the Bengals a lot.
Really?
Biggest home game since the 15 debacle against the Steelers in the playoffs. Biggest home game since.
Quinn, where are you at in this game?
Well, no, it's the biggest home game since that San Francisco 49ers game the other week, which they lost. But no, here's a stat for you guys. Jamar Chase against Marlon Humphrey last time they played, 201 yards.
Yeah.
Marlon Humphrey's not playing. So ipso facto, Baltimore's secondary is better.
So all those yards are gone.
Yeah, I don't hate
yards
it.
Again.
I mean, it all makes sense to me. They should get Patrick McCarry back in this game. They should get Lamar Jackson back in this game. They're both questionable with injuries. They need those guys back. McCarry's not even a good tackle, but you can't start Tyre Fire Phillips out there at right tackle anymore. They need to get healthy, and if the Ravens are healthy, I think they win. Before we get to Chargers at Texans, proud sponsor of the show. Someone on the YouTube comments, by the way, becoming a rival of Tailgate. Why would I ever spend $1,000 on an X chair? Because you've never had they said, why would I spend $1,000 on an office chair? You say that now because you never had a chair change your life. Have you ever had a chair change your life? Well, I got you one right here. Working from home is more important now than ever. Optimize your home office with an X chair and many of our accessories to enhance your focus, productivity, energy, and comfort. Once you feel the customized support of X chair's patented dynamic variable lumbar, there's no going back. It's all in the LMX massage and temperature regulation, exclusively designed and made for an X chair. Makes for X chair. Versatile comfort and extraordinary design. X chair fits any space. High performance, quality engineering, extreme comfort. Those are all the reasons I love my X chair. Now I can't wait to be at work. And sometimes, even if I'm not working, I sit in my X chair just to get that feeling. Do you do that with your chairs now? No, because you're spending like $20 a chair on Craigslist, going to garage sales, finding your damn chairs. Go to xchairtailgate.com now. That's xchair, TAILGATE.com, or call 1-8444-XChair for $100 off your first order. X-Chair has a 30-day guarantee of complete comfort, and you can finance your purchase for as little as $30 a month. xchairtailgate.com. If you're watching on YouTube, check out the link in the description below. I don't know if it's like the mental side of knowing I took it or it's actually affecting me, but this pre-workout has me in a fucking
it's good, dude.
Absolute
it's
blender here. All right, Chargers-Texans. Texans are 9.5-point dogs at home. I put in here, this is our hold your nose and take it line.
I put hold your nose. This is it. I mean, we don't like to talk much about the Texans because
their butt.
What are you going to talk about? I mean, I will say they have a lot of recognizable names. They like lead the league in teams and players that at one point people thought might be good, but now everyone's realized they're not. And so that's why they play for the Texans. But the Chargers, 9.5. That's cake, honestly. Like that one is one of my favorite lines of the week.
I am never going to back Davis Mills. Now, there were commentators broadcasting the Jags game, and I was watching the Jags game because I had too much money on Bevel, that said he's playing his way into an opportunity to start for this team in 2022. Have you seen any of that this year?
I think if you don't address the quarterback position, he should start. Yes.
Of course. Well, yeah.
But no, you have to go address the quarterback position. Yeah. I will say this is a big stretch here for the Texans. We said on this podcast Texans under 4 wins is your lock of the century. They got the Chargers, they got the 49ers, and they got the Titans.
Yeah.
And they got 3 wins. So we did not foresee the Jaguars being the most ass franchise this season. So,
Rams at Vikings. Vikings are 3-point dogs at home. I like the Vikings a little bit in this game to cover the 3. Maybe they don't win, to push the 3. Maybe you wait for this to get to 3.5 so you don't have that push opportunity. But if Thielen comes back healthy, Vikings at home in a dome against the Rams. I know the Rams are rolling and they just beat the Seahawks 2010. I like the Vikings as a dog here.
I don't. We didn't talk enough about whatever the hell Kirk was doing on Monday. He had 87 passing yards. We didn't talk about that one interception he threw. That was like the arm punt.
Oh, yeah.
That he was a galaxy-brained Kirk Cousins throwing it after Justin Jefferson fell down trying to draw the flag because of it.
Yikes.
No clue what he was like. That step too far, Kirk. You deserved that pass to be picked off. I just don't trust. One, I don't trust the offensive line trying to block Aaron Donald. I don't trust the interior of this offensive line not being able to give Kirk Cousins literally any time in this game. So at that point, the Vikings offense is going to look like the Vikings offense did against the Bears. So give me the Rams to cover.
All right, I'm fading the Rams. Bills at Patriots, another game of the weekend. Now, a lot of people, I think, want to back the Bills in this one because last time these two teams played, they played in like the Snow Bowl, and it was an ugly game. I think Mac Jones threw like 2 or 3 passes. This one in Foxborough won't be as aggressive from a weather perspective. Still, though, Patriots are favored by 2.5. Mac Jones coming off a loss. You don't want to see that man coming off a loss. And I think they should be healthier. Damian Harris, I think, is questionable to return in this game. I think you want him over Ramondre Stevenson and Brandon Bolden. I also think on the that they're expected to get back, I think, another player as well, but I think I missed him. But either way, I think they'll be a bit healthier.
Figure it out.
I like the Patriots to cover and win this game.
I like the Bills purely from an emotional standpoint. They have more to lose at 8-6.
From an emotional standpoint.
That's here. Here's the analysis.
Do you know that
PFF
Beasley
for.
and Dawkins are on the COVID list?
Currently. Oh, Beasley's actually out for sure, but I think Dawkins could come back. From an emotional standpoint, they were they were pissed after the last game. The stupid weather, 40-mile-per-hour winds, Sean McDermott not wanting to give Bill Belichick any credit. He's going to come out. That team is going to be fired the F up to play this Patriots team. And at 8-6, they lose this game. They may not make the playoffs. Now, they have a kind of a cakewalk schedule in with the Falcons and Jets at home last 2 weeks. But this is a backs against the wall. They could win the East with this win. So, give me the Bills.
Game of the weekend. Game of the weekend.
Yeah.
Jets. Jets are favored by 2.5 in a game that no one will watch. I said on this podcast I'll never bet the Jags again, but here I am. Here I am considering them.
Do it.
Here I am considering the Jags. I'm going to back the Jags again. I'm not going to take the 2.5. I'm going to take them on the money line. Give me the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't know if it's the pre-workout or my brain. I like the Jags. I think Trevor Lawrence has played better this year. They are not battered with injuries. I know they're throwing to Laquan Treadwell, and I get that. But James Robinson should play more than 90% of the snaps in this game. Carlos Hyde, I think, officially on the injured reserve. The Jags are the better football team. The Jags, I know, are on the road, should win this game. I'm in on the Jags here.
I will be taking the Jets at home. Now, not really any other reason other than the Jags just completely dysfunctional all over the place. And the Jets.
And what are the Jets?
They're not dysfunctional. They just have a bad quarterback.
I think that's enough. I'd rather I take dysfunction with a good quarterback over bad quarterback without dysfunction.
Fair.
I'm in on the Jags, and I won't watch the game because it was painful, dude. It was painful betting and watching the Jags. I will bet the Jags, but I will refuse to watch it. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see this game. Giants at Eagles. This was the line that I felt confused me.
Okay.
Eagles favored by 10.5. And I know you hate talking about the Eagles. You hate talking about Jalen Hurts. This line feels way too massive.
I hate talking about Jalen Hurts' future. I'll talk about him right now.
This line feels way too big for an Eagles team that is admittedly good and on their way to cracking a playoff berth with Jalen Hurts and this running game and this offensive line that's been dominant. But Giants are considering starting Jake Fromm. We might not get Glennon in this game. I think that might be some life that the Giants need. 10 points in a total that is right now at 42. I think the Giants show up a bit this week, and I think they cover that number. I don't think they win. I don't think the Giants win. Let me be clear. I don't think the Giants win. I think they cover, though.
So, Jake Fromm, 4th-round pick from the Bills, was so bad with the Bills they wanted Mitchell Trubisky instead.
Yeah.
Couldn't beat out Mike Glennon. If he's starting, I mean, yes, granted, the Eagles just didn't cover this number, 10.5, against Garrett Gilbert in Washington. But Garrett Gilbert really showed some life, and they had some fluky plays like that heel interception. Give me the Eagles 10.5.
Wow.
They're going to roll.
You're
175 straight, 6 straight games, 175 rushing yards or more. That running game is scary.
That offensive line.
I'm not sure I'd want to play this team in the playoffs.
The offensive line is rolling, dude. The offensive line is absolutely rolling. You watched the game last night. That was one of my biggest takeaways. They had no chance. The offensive line was dominating.
Yeah.
Bears at Seahawks. I'm interested in waiting on this game a bit because it's so close to the key number 7. Mm-hmm. It opened at 7 and then was bet down very quickly to 6.5. If it gets back to 7, I'd probably bet the Bears, but at 6.5, I think the Seahawks cover. Even with the disaster that is Russell Wilson, he has not played well this year. They're also banged up in a lot of places. Lockett missed this last game with COVID. Chris Carson's on the injury reserve. Rashad Penny left the game, I think, last night with an injury. I think this Seahawks team is not in a good place to blow out teams. They still have a good quarterback. They objectively have the better quarterback in this matchup, but they're not healthy enough, in my opinion, to blow out teams. If it gets back to 7, bet the Bears. At 6.5, ride with the better quarterback at home, covering a touchdown spread.
I think that's the thing. They're just not a team you feel great about covering a big number, with the way that offense has looked of late. And we didn't talk too much about the Bears and their defense on Monday night, but they look good with backups in there. Thomas Graham, my guy, 6th-round pick, had a monster game. 3 pass breakups in that game. It is his very
debut.
first NFL game. Really liked what I saw from him. He was a top 75 player in the PFF draft report coming out. So, excited to see what he can do. And like I said, 6.5 is just too much for a team with the Seahawks offensive late.
Excited to watch that game. Mm-hmm. Steelers at Chiefs. Chiefs are favored by 7.5. This line opened up at 9.5. And it was bet down to 7.5. If you continue to see that, in my opinion, if you continue to see this game get to like 7, take the Chiefs, dude. Right now, it looks like a lot of the money is on the Steelers to cover right now. And I think you'll still see that money with the hook, right? 7.5.
You know why? It's because it's Tyreek Hill on COVID list. That's why.
Moves the spread by 2.
And Travis Kelce.
Travis Kelce on the COVID list as well?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't see it. Oh, and Chris Jones? Tyreek Hill, Chris Jones, Travis Kelce, and Rashad Fenton, and Charvarius Ward all on the COVID list.
There you go. That's why.
If they're out all of those guys, I might bet the Steelers. I mean, Charvarius Ward and Rashad Fenton are like legit like starters for them.
Yeah.
They lose their top corners. They lose their top 2 pass catchers. I think this game is close.
If this holds, like those guys don't play. I mean, the Steelers minus 8 or plus 8, excuse me. Steelers getting 8 points is the bet in this one.
Yeah.
By a wide margin.
Tyreek Hill ranks 4th in WAR, PFF WAR, wins above replacement at his position. Chris Jones ranks 5th at his position, and Travis Kelce ranks 2nd. 3 top 5 players at their position could be out of this game for the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah. At that point, it'll be a nice thought experiment, but it'll be a nice change of pace to see what Mahomes looks like without Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. Have we seen that before? Both those guys out?
I'm trying to think. I don't think so.
We've seen one or the other out, but both? Mahomes looks human. The total has also been bet down from 46 to 44.5, obviously with those players on the COVID list. I didn't catch that news, and I apologize. Chiefs Kingdom. Yeah. Before we get to the latter slate here, 'tis the season of giving DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is giving you a Christmas present you won't want to regift. A common thing. New customers can bet just $5 on any of the 4 NFL teams playing on Christmas and win $150 in free bets if they're victorious. Why not win some green and put some extra jingle in your pocket? Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code PFF. Bet just $5 on any NFL team to win on Christmas Day and win $150 in free bets if they're victorious. That's promo code PFF this Christmas at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 years or older. New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit, $1 wager required. One per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Call gambling problem. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. I feel like the gambling problem phone number should be 1-800 like don't gamble, right? Like, or like, because you don't want to, talk about the Atomic Habits book. You're identifying as a gambler.
Gamble.
1-800-GAMBLE now. I think
like you'd call that if you wanted to gamble more. You wanted to put a bet down.
1-800-GAMBLER is a bookie. Yeah, He's like, what do you need? I actually got that Chiefs line at -6.5.
It's an Italian guy in the back of a
greasy gym
sandwich place. No, go ahead.
Broncos at Raiders is next on our list here. Raiders are actually favored by 1.5. Drew Lock, I think, is expected to start in this game. Teddy Bridgewater, I don't think we talked about this in the Monday review show, took a really bad hit in that game. And I think we'll miss this game with a concussion or in concussion protocols. I think, even on the road, this Denver Broncos team slows the Raiders offense down significantly, just as the Raiders did against a practice squad Browns team where they only scored 16 points. They'd be lucky to clear that number against the Broncos. Broncos just held Zach Taylor and the Cincinnati Bengals, who people believe is a deep piece postseason contenders, not me, to just 15 points. There were 15, 16 points in that game. I think the Raiders offense looks horrendous, and that defense gets beat up enough, maybe lets up 2 touchdowns to Drew Lock and the Denver Broncos, so much that they lose this game. I like Broncos on the money line.
I do as well. For what we've been saying, the Raiders scored more than 16 points once in the last 7 games. Couldn't even cover 2.5 against the Browns team with everyone out. Broncos, yes, without Teddy Bridgewater, but I mean, him versus Drew Lock. Lock scored more points in that last game. I mean, they're not too terribly dissimilar from a pure how is the offense going to score points perspective. So, give me the Broncos.
Sunday Night Football. Football team at Cowboys. Cowboys favored by 10.5. 10.5 in this game. The line has not moved a ton. Not a lot of money bet on this game thus far. Heineke is expected to be back in this game, though, right?
I believe so, but
I feel like this line's too big. This line's way too big for a divisional matchup on prime time. 10.5 is massive. And if football team adds Fuller back from the reserved COVID list, Heineke back is I've been rude to Heineke and not called him a good quarterback, but he's objectively better than Garrett Gilbert. Getting him back, I think, will be big. And I think that's enough, right? I think that's enough to cover 10.5 against a Cowboys team that has not, really looked all that great. Right? They haven't blown out teams. They've been kind of up and down. I like the Washington football team to cover 10.5.
I do as well. If Heineke's healthy, for sure, in this one. They're not. Yeah, the defense is playing better. Like 10.5 is just a monster number with how kind of just mid the Cowboys' offense has looked of late.
Yeah, mid. Is that do people say mid?
I do. I've started saying it.
Are you happy? Are you proud that you're saying it?
Middling. It's short for middling.
Love it. Dolphins at Saints. Monday Night Football barn burner. I'm excited.
I am too, actually. I really like this game.
This is the game where Tua could silence some doubters here.
Yeah.
Saints are favored by 3 with Taysom Hill starting at quarterback and a really good defense. We can all call it a really good defense. They have risen to the occasion. I think Dolphins are on a 6-game winning streak with Tua's average depth to target like 3 yards. Can they do it? Can they do it against a very good defense? Can Tua Tagovailoa silence some doubters against a very good defense?
Yes, I believe so. And it's because I think Jalen Waddle will be back in this game. And they, winners of 6 straight, are still sneakily in the playoff conversation. So, for those reasons, give me the Dolphins. The other reason being the Saints are still starting Taysom Hill. And I mean, they won last week. They only scored 9 points. So, for all those reasons, give me the Dolphins.
You're backing the Dolphins?
Backing the Dolphins in this one.
I'm going to fade it. I'm going to fade the Dolphins. I think they're on a winning streak. This line's only 3 because they've obviously had a lot of success down the stretch. I think their defense has played better. Tua has played better. But this Saints defense, Dennis Allen and his man boobs, is going to lock them down. Absolutely lock them down. I like Dolphins. I like Saints minus.
You just wanted to bring it up. That's the only reason you took the Saints in that one. You just want.
I'm backing boobs. What's wrong with that?
You sound like Clay Travis right now.
Clay Travis says that?
He was the one who went on TV and is like, I believe in 2 things, boobs and freedom of
said that?
speech or something. Yeah, it was pretty hard.
I believe in two things: Dennis Allen's two breasts. Those are the only two things: left and right breasts of Dennis Allen. Jack, shall we get to trivia and then the mailbag,
Sure.
or do we want to do mailbag then trivia?
Mailbag then trivia.
All right. Before we get to trivia, can I give us a proud sponsor?
Yeah.
Want a chance to win the ultimate game day fees? Whether it's football success or financial savvy, winning starts with us asking us questions. Would you like to know what it's like behind the scenes with Allen Sunday Night Football? How about a need to know for your financial future? Western Southern is teaming up with PFF's very own Chris Collinsworth to share insights that can help put you ahead on both your fantasy and financial scoreboards. Every submission earns you a chance to win the ultimate feast to celebrate football's favorite Sunday. We'll cover your catering up to $2,500, coordinate your order from a restaurant near you, and have it delivered on February 13th, 2022. And don't forget to check out the Chris Collinsworth podcast and Western Southern's Instagram for answers to the best questions each week. Submit your questions at westernsouthern.com/askchris. One more time, that is westernsouthern.com/askchris. If you're watching on YouTube, check out the link in the description below. Remember, with Western Southern, you can rest assured on game day. Mailbag. This is from Jackboy512. I think he's left a question before. Jackboy feels familiar. Thoughts on the Cardinals' usage of Rondale Moore? You commented on this a little bit earlier in the show. I thought they try to do what 49ers are doing with Deebo Samuel, but it doesn't seem like they're being creative as creative as they should be.
Oh, I agree. I mean, one, he is still a rookie. I'm not necessarily sure you have to shoehorn in this new role for one rookie they drafted, second round pick. Like, I'm not too upset about it, but I do think they're I think he's more than what they're giving him credit for. Like, if they just gave him the role that you see Antoine Wesley playing right now in their offense, he would do it better than Antoine Wesley. He would be more dynamic. It would create a more explosive offense than having effing Antoine Wesley out there. I'm sorry, he's not an explosive downfield threat. He's just not an average wide receiver. He's a very, very below average wide receiver for the NFL. So I'm a little sad as a Rondale Moore fan, as someone who's called him fun to watch, called him a fun to watch Hall of Famer, in fact. But I'm not surprised. I'll say, if it's happening next year again, then we can talk about being worried.
We didn't really talk about how we had the fun to watch segment on Monday's show. And then Dyer Gallagher, the Mercedes Lewis fun to watcher, tweets out the clip. And then Packers Kingdom came after us.
Yeah.
I know I saw you fighting a little bit in the trenches saying it was a joke segment or whatever, but like people were like, "Oh, sorry, you don't think Mercedes Lewis is fun to watch? You're a piece of shit."
Tell that to his teammates.
Tell that to the locker room.
Someone said that. Tell it to his teammates. I'll tell it to his teammates. Where Aaron Rodgers, you're listening. Mercedes Lewis is not as fun to watch as you.
Wow, you whispered that. You kind of backed down.
It's not as fun to watch as you.
Say it with your chest. Say it with your chest.
Devontae and Aaron, he's not as fun to watch as you.
You're not saying it with your chest. Scream it.
I'm not going to scream.
I still feel and stand by the statement that Mercedes Lewis is not fun to watch relative to other fun to watch players. He's not the most fun to watch player on the Green Bay Packers.
We're debating fun to watch. The merits of how fun a guy is.
Tell that to his teammates. All right.
Tell it to his teammates.
This is from Cornell Lynch on Apple Podcasts. Any UCF prospects to keep an eye on? Obviously a UCF fan.
No, not this year. Not for this year's draft, sorry. But so they had their best prospects probably transfer from Tennessee, the left tackle Marcus Tatum, but even he is, I doubt, going to get drafted. They do have a sophomore cornerback, though, Devontae Brown, who I am intrigued by. True sophomore, so he's not draft eligible, but he's been starting since freshman year. 6'2", 200. Intrigued. Color me intrigued.
This is it's Alabu on Apple Podcasts. Should the Giants double down on O-line with both picks in the top 10, Evan Neal and Tyler Linderbaum?
This year, I don't hate it. I will also say it's a strong edge class, so maybe go like that would be another position to attack considering who the Giants have at edge. But I don't hate it. I think we've had people talking about this before with how bad the Giants' offensive line is. And also, just with where they are. We talk about some other teams that are down bad. The Giants are not only not particularly talented, as indicated by the record, they only have $3.5 million cap space next year.
Yeah, they're bottom 5 in cap space.
They had to just convert salary to bonus for their punter, Riley Dixon, and tight end Kyle Rudolph, who's the same age as me, because we were the same class in Notre Dame. That is not good. I'm not at the age where you want to be converting my salary to bonus. I'll just tell you that right now.
I love that you just fit in that you guys are in the same class at Notre Dame.
Yeah,
I've always felt that you and Kyle Rudolph are so similar.
Yeah, he was in O'Neill to start. He actually won bookstore basketball. I never did, sadly, his freshman year. But so they only have $3.5 million cap space with a quarterback on a rookie deal, mind you. So they can't even like bring in. Everyone's talking about, oh, Russell Wilson wants to go to the Giants. Like that's getting floated around. They're gonna have to do some fucking magic to even get that. And then if you do draft Russell Wilson, he's probably gonna want those 2 offensive linemen. So yeah, I do think offensive line value positions got to be where you go.
But I mean, that for me, right? Like Evan Neal tackle, yes, but Linderbaum center, you probably move away from that, right? You try and go get an edge.
I would like a tackle and an edge.
Yeah.
If my ideal for the Giants would be something like a George Karlaftis and a Charles Cross, that would be, or Evan Neal if he's there. Yeah,
I think I agree with that. What I came out with a mock draft and I had Linderbaum falling to think like outside the top 15, outside the top 20.
Yeah, you're a fucking hater.
What's the lowest? Like you're on the clock for a team. Linderbaum's slipping. What is the pick where you're like, absolutely no, I'm not letting it get past?
It's such a crazy hypothetical. Whoever's on the board. I mean, he's what, 8th on the PFF board?
Yeah.
Something
Are
like
you
that?
taking him in the top 10?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Center at top 10. Love to see it. All right. This is from Nicholas Sack on Apple. Besides Darian Kennard, the offensive tackle likely converting to guard at the next level out of Kentucky, who are other Kentucky prospects to know? Thoughts on Will Levis and Wan'Dale Robinson? I like Wan'Dale.
Levis is kind of erratic. He has NFL tools, quote unquote, size and arm, but not a massive fan of his. He might not even get drafted, honestly. But Wan'Dale, I am a fan. He's one of the best gadget players in the country, but I think he's far more than just that, as opposed to like Tutu Atwell, D. Eskridge, who they went second round last year. I still can't believe that. But he's far more of like a complete wide receiver. You could see him just being like a productive, true slot in an offense at the next level. So Wan'Dale, I'm a fan of. I think he's going to be I think he's probably going to be a day 2 pick. I will also say that Yusuf Corker, their safety, big physical dude. That's his name, Yusuf Corker. I've been highlighting him for a couple of years. He's like 6'2", a little over 200, physical sort of box safety. He actually will be at the Senior Bowl, and Josh Pascal, their edge rusher, will be at the Senior Bowl too. He's got a unique body type. He's 6'3", 278 though. He's like that short, stout, like almost James Harrison-esque build or Brandon Graham-esque, where it's just like not long, but those guys are difficult for tackles to deal with because they just tackles can't get that low. They're just standing them up every single time. So he's a unique dude. I'm interested to see what he does at the Senior Bowl. Those two, I don't think Corker's probably a day 3 guy. I could see Pascal sneaking his way towards a top 100 pick. Yeah.
Corker, I hardly even know her.
Yeah, that was the joke I was
going to beat you guys to it. Beat you to it.
AG, you got owned on that.
Corker.
That's your joke.
Yusuf Corker. If I run into him at the Senior Bowl, I might have to tell him. I've hardly known him. Like a boy 66_6. As a struggling Jags fan, should they trade out of the top 3 to accrue more picks or stay and take someone? Now that they're number 1 overall,
you take Hutchinson.
Yeah, or Thibodeau, right?
I think just Hutchinson. I wouldn't trade down because I don't think anyone's going to want to trade up is the thing. You're not going to get a haul.
Yeah, you're not going to get a haul. There's no QB.
So I like staying and taking Hutchinson. Honestly.
Someone also commented on the YouTube video from this morning or last morning, whatever, recording on Wednesday. Austin, why aren't you telling the Jags and Jets to draft a quarterback? Don't they need to just keep drafting a quarterback until they find one? If this quarterback class was sick and say there was a guy that was like consensus number 1 overall,
yeah.
I mean, you trade out or take it. Like that's the bottom line. Like you would not just sit and take Aiden Hutchinson if there was a number 1 overall worthy quarterback in this class. Mm-hmm. Same with the Jets. The Jets are in the top 3. Zach Wilson hasn't played well. You are taking a quarterback or you're trading out to gather more picks. Because if the quarterback value is at the top, it's what you have to do.
But then we've also said it depends on
the investment,
your evaluation.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the Josh Rosen versus Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
You had a much higher grade on Kyler Murray. You go for Kyler Murray because Josh Rosen is showing you nothing.
Yes.
If you have a much higher grade on the teams at the top of the draft last year, you have a much higher grade on Justin Fields than you did Tua Tagovailoa coming out. You go with Justin Fields because that incremental difference is worth more.
Mm-hmm.
So
So yeah, if the Jags
So if you have a higher grade exactly on Kenny Pickett than you did Trevor Lawrence, by all means
take Pickett number 1 overall.
Yeah.
Or with the Jets, if you have a higher grade on Corral or Willis or Howell or anyone,
by all means,
take them. But I doubt you will.
But I doubt exactly.
This is from.
God damn it!
I'm a piece of shit. I just dropped the mic. Give me a second. Brock G32 didn't drop the mic, but he did leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Thoughts on Kwity Paye and Dayo Odeyingbo, who are good receivers. Oh, let's just start there. Thoughts on Kwity Paye and Dayo Odeyingbo.
Kwity, go listen to yesterday's episode where we talked about a confidence level, a very first rounder, but I believe we gave him a 7.
Yeah.
Pretty confident in Kwity Paye, like we've seen in the flash so far. Dayo, I mean, he's coming back from a torn Achilles. Only got back, I believe, week 8. He's only played 115 snaps. He's just not going to glean anything. He hasn't graded well. Hasn't done much. So
second part of the question.
That was to be expected, though.
Second part of the question. Who are good wide receivers, OTs, cornerbacks to attack for the Colts on day 2?
Ooh, fuck. I actually didn't get to that part when I was prepping this.
What a piece of shit.
We'll save that for next week.
Was JT picked too high at 41?
That one, I don't believe so. No.
Jonathan Taylor. No. Why do you feel like he fell? You didn't even have Jonathan Taylor as your running back 1.
I did not. I had DeAndre Swift. He fell
because like right now, like he's probably like top 3 running back.
I don't
in the
think
NFL,
that's
maybe top 2.
necessarily falling comparatively, but he still is kind of a straight line type of running back, and not. I mean, Derrick Henry went later than that, and so that was kind of the guys who, I guess, are the shiftier guys, and then the straight line guys are the guys kind of dominating the NFL. Straight line explosive guys. Maybe NFL needs to, and myself need to reevaluate what value at the running back position.
Last thing, also, Austin, why are you a Colts hater? You always seem to pick against us. #call out.
That's the one I prepped for.
I am a Colts hater. I'll wear it like a fucking badge because they don't have a good quarterback. That's the bottom line. I mean,
he's a Wentz hater.
Yeah, I'm a Wentz hater. I don't think Carson Wentz is good. And if you're a Colts fan and you watched him play at any, especially this past game, you can't say he's good. Like Carson Wentz isn't good. And the best teams in the playoffs have good quarterbacks. Colts don't. Now, they have exceeded expectations, including my own, with how they've run the football and how Eberflus has cooked up that D. I still am not backing Carson Wentz deep in the postseason. I can't. I won't.
Don't.
Broken Alley on Apple Podcast said, what should the Washington football team do in the draft and free agency? These are my favorite questions. Am I crazy to want to draft Malik Willis and sit him for a year?
I don't think you're crazy.
Behind who?
And I honestly think you could probably get Malik Willis in the second round. I think where he's trending at this point. After how he finished this season. And he just looks so raw still in a number of ways. Guy just in the passing offense he was in at Liberty is firmly a project. So yes, if you're drafting him, you're going to sit him for a year. I will just say he's not a guy getting thrown to the fire, even if he goes 20th in the draft. So you're not crazy. Not crazy at all.
They are crazy though if they start Taylor Heineke another season.
Yeah.
Come on.
What they should do is make serious plays for established starters. Whether it's honestly the one I would want the most if I'm Washington, and this is going to sound stupid, but I think they're already in the mix for him earlier in the year, is Tua. Because I think Miami wants Deshaun Watson badly. Miami is going to try to trade for Deshaun Watson. Most likely will be the
even after Tua's heater
for Deshaun Watson. I just think they do. And then at that point, Tua is going to be expendable. And I think that is who you want if you're Washington, because you still have cost control. You have the cheapness. You have a guy entering year 3, sort of the prime of the rookie quarterback deal, where we've seen guys, that's where Kyler Murray's in right now. Like we've seen guys have years where they take that next step to superstar status and lead teams to playoffs. That is who I would be targeting if I am Washington at the quarterback position.
I think that's a better route than where they're currently trending. I think that going after a quarterback maybe on day 2, like a Malik Willis, or if another one of those top quarterbacks falls, and then trying to go get a Tua or another quarterback to start, because Heineke isn't it.
Because I think their window with how much talent they have on rookie deals right now, and they've drafted fairly well, and they have a number of impact players, whether it's Terry McLaurin, Chase Young, Montez Sweat. They have those guys. If you draft a quarterback and you make him the guy, say it's, I don't know, Matt Corral, whatever, and you're not going to be in a great position to draft quarterback anyway yet again. You draft a guy, make him, it's not going to happen. Then it's next year, you're kind of washing next year too. Like you're not going to win with a mid-round rookie quarterback. You're not going to win it all. So I say that as the Patriots may win it all this year with that, but I don't think that. I think that puts you behind the 8 ball for yet another year, and you could be just flushing that pick down the drain. So that's where I would go is with Tua, because they got $61 million in cap space heading in 2022. They got spaced. They got plays they can make. So
this is from William ND fan, Notre Dame guy. Thoughts on Villanova linebacker Forrest Rhine? Haven't ground a ton of Forrest Rhine tape, but you did add one of my favorite quotes I think I've seen from a player this year. This is from Matt Zimmer. Villanova linebacker Forrest Rhine, who had 21 tackles today. This is from a couple weeks ago. When asked what it means to lead the league or lead the nation in tackles, he said nothing. I love that. That's phenomenal. Forrest Rhine's a football guy.
Very much.
He's also got a football name, Forrest Rhine.
So he is a redshirt senior, 6'1", 235. I haven't actually seen any bowl invites for him in terms of Shrine Bowl, Senior Bowl, whatever. But I think he has a shot as a late rounder. I think he's a special teamer at worst. I don't think he's a bad athlete, but he's not a plus athlete. I venture to say off his tape, he's like a high 4.6s, maybe low 4.7s, the running back position. And he's not an explosive dude at 235, like him taking on blocks. He goes backwards, not the offensive lineman, not the guy he hits. So he's kind of a evade blocks instead of take on blocks, which is not, if you're that guy at the NFL level, you better be a high-end athlete. You better run a 4.6 or lower. So kind of probably going to be a special teamer. Limited length, not like the tools that NFL looks for, but very instinctive player. Reminds me a lot of Bengals legend, Joe Bacci, who's just started playing for them. It was a UDFA, I think, coming out of Michigan
R.I.P.
State.
Joe Bacci.
Did he get
He tore his ACL. I think it was on that same play that Teddy took the face plant.
Oh, shit.
And
I didn't know that.
I think Teddy got carted off and Joe Bacci tore his ACL.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's brutal.
He lives in my building.
He was playing good, too.
Yeah. I see him a handful of times.
Bocce does?
Yeah, he lives in my building. Sad. But that's who he kind of reminds me of on tape.
Quinn, I don't ask for a lot, but if you saw the picture I just dropped in Tailgate of Forrest Rhine, can you please put it on the YouTube? This guy is a football guy through and through.
He looks like he wears a neck roll.
He looks like
I hope he
eats
wears a
neck rolls with water in the morning. This guy is a monster. I think he needs to be invited to an All-Star Bowl. More attention needs to be put to that facial hair decision. I'm all for it. I'm all for
Is
Forrest Rhine.
he... That facial hair decision looks like he's... which Amish? Is he Amish?
Potentially.
Can we get an
Amish comfort?
check?
Check.
Amish check.
This is from Joko Ba, not Forrest Rhine. I think he's done this before. Joko Ba is a big, proud favorite. I asked earlier about Jordan Davis and the Chargers. He did. After watching more film in the SEC Championship, I wouldn't take him in the first round. I like that. No get off, nothing to offer in the pass rush. He has good feet, but I didn't see anything special besides winning with size. I just don't think he'll translate well to the NFL. Your thoughts? Bust watch? Question mark, question mark, question mark.
That's a fucking early bust watch. That I said this a while back though, man. I said I don't think he's first round type of player. He's kind of where you draft a good running back because that's what he impacts. That's what he does. He impacts those handful of run snaps a game. And I just don't. Now, I will say he's a little bit more rare of an athlete or specimen than Derek Brown was coming out, but he's far less polished. Like he might not even be a good run defender out the gate with how just like it just seems like nothing comes naturally quite to him, and that's why he's in year 4 and still not seeing the field as much as other defensive tackles there are for Georgia. So yeah, I'm just going to be lower on him here at PFF.
I don't think he falls out of the first round.
So I say he's first on lock because of that. People still love that.
He won the butt kiss he won all the McNarick Award and the Outland Trophy. He was the best defensive player in the year this year. How could you not draft him in the first round? I didn't have him going in the first round in my latest mock draft, but that was because I was GM of all 32 teams. I do think he ultimately goes in the first round. But there are legitimate concerns about him impacting the pass and him being on the football field a ton. All right. This is from Glaze Train on Apple. As it appears more and more likely the Bears will be moving on from Matt Nagy, what is the path to go down for head coach? Former coach who has been revived as a coordinator, Leslie Frazier, Todd Bowles, or a young, up-and-coming coordinator, Kellen Moore, Leftwich, Dable? Which route is the best way to go to unlock Justin Fields and his potential?
So I like offensive-minded head coach. And this might sound a little nuts, but my ideal, if I was a Bears fan, which I'm not, and I'm not trying to sabotage him here with suggesting this, my ideal candidate Chicago Bears, Josh McDaniels. I think he's been flexible with his offenses over the years. You saw how he made Cam Newton look like a passable quarterback last year as opposed to what's happening this year. That in and of itself, that vast difference, almost says vast difference there, it is big. That is coaching, in my opinion. I think Josh McDaniels is who I would want for Justin Fields. Now, obviously, New England's offense doesn't look like the offense you would want for Justin Fields. Not even close, to be honest. But the fact that McDaniels has schemed to and made Mac Jones look so good right out the gate with an offense that fits him, I just think he is a flexible play caller who would scheme to Justin Fields and build an offense that fits him. So I believe that's who I would take, one. And then my other two candidates I would suggest are Brian Dable and Byron Leftwich.
I like Dable. I think Dable needs an opportunity with either Fields or Lawrence, because obviously both those opportunities should be opening up. I think Dable to one of those guys, I think makes a ton of sense. I think it all depends on if he wants, because he's a big Buffalo guy, right? I think he's from Buffalo or in that area. I think him sticking with Josh Allen and that team and trying to compete for Super Bowls every year is definitely a possibility. But if he wants a head coaching opportunity, I think he'll get offers. And I think Jacksonville and Chicago, between those two, I'd probably lean Jacksonville with Lawrence, but I think one of those opportunities would be great. Definitely don't go to the Giants, though. The Giants, you're going to need, that's a Leslie Frazier situation, right? Who the hell is going to the Giants, like a young and up-and-coming coordinator?
They're keeping Joe Judge. That's what they're doing.
That's true. I think that's fair. Fine. All right, this is Jordan Shore on Twitter. With guys like Deebo Samuel and Cordero Patterson, best running back in the NFL, love that, who are hybrid receiver running back types, is it possible we'll ever see teams starting to line up their own big-bodied receivers in the backfield and getting carries? I think like A.J. Brown or DK types, even Devontae Adams.
So I honestly don't love that long-term. Like what the Deebo Samuel, because it's such a low margin usage for a guy like that. Like you're subjecting him to hits, and he's already had an injury history. I don't love that long-term. Like if you need a must-win game, you're in the playoffs, sure, by all means, start to break those plays out the playbook. But giving Deebo Samuel, 50 carries over the course of the season is just asking for him to get hurt more. And like I said, it's low leverage as opposed to his downfield targets. So I like it more with your number 2, number 3 type of wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
If you have...
Yeah, Devontae Adams back there would be insane.
Yes. So if you have a secondary guy like Laviska Shenault, like what the Jags should have been doing in the fucking first place with Laviska instead of drafting Travis Etienne to be that role, like a Amari Rodgers for the Packers, like a Rondale Moore for the Cardinals. Like if you have that guy who's your ancillary wide receiver, he should also double and can run and is dynamic with ball in his hands. Put him there. I do think this is a role that will only grow in the future. What we've seen from Cordero Patterson, there will be more guys like that in this year's class. The guys I would say kind of fit that bill: Sky Moore from Western Michigan, Dontario Drummond from Ole Miss, and I didn't even give a shout to maybe David Bell from Purdue.
Wow, Bell
that could rock that type of dual threat role. All right, this mailbag.
That's the mailbag. Shall we get to trivia?
Let's do it.
All right. First time, maybe it's the first time. This is an all user or listener submitted mailbag.
Perk Angel?
True. Yeah. Perk. Perk actually sent 2.
Our
we
king.
need to. Our
literal king.
Yeah, we should hook him up with some merch.
Dude, if he reaches out to me, send me a DM, Perk,
tweet
and
us.
I will get you something.
Yeah. So first one from Perk, obviously. Only 3 wide receivers have won Offensive Rookie of the Year since 2000. Who are they?
That's a good question.
Since 2000.
Since 2000.
Anquan Bolden.
Yep. 2003.
Since 2000.
Randy?
Negative.
He was at before 2000.
Duh.
He was like 98 or something.
Oh. Bolden has the rookie receptions record. Justin Jefferson didn't win it.
Yeah.
Even though he
Negative.
broke the... So, gosh, who else? Who was the last? Odell Beckham.
Yeah. 2013.
14. And then... Oh, come on. One more.
Do you want a year?
Yeah, give me the year.
2009.
2009. Michael Crabtree.
Negative.
Oh, what the fuck? Crabtree was 09, though. Who the hell was 09? It was...
09 was Hayward Bay Macklin year. I don't think...
Percy Harvin.
Percy Harvin.
There
yep.
we go.
Wow.
Good job. All right, here we go. Number 2. It's obviously Perk again because that's what he does.
Our guy.
Micah Parsons should become the first Cowboy to ever win Defensive Rookie of the Year. Name 3 of the 4 Cowboys who have won Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Snack Prescott.
Yep. Dakota.
3 of the 4 Cowboys.
Michael Irvin?
No, not Michael Irvin.
Emmett Smith?
Emmett Smith, yeah.
Julius Jones.
No. Not
Troy
Julius
Aikman?
Jones. Not Troy Aikman.
You're just throwing shit at me.
No, I'm just, dude. When you ask me like these historical,
I mean,
questions,
that's not a terrible guy. Like, of all the great players that have come through Dallas,
I have been
just like
watching
throw
football
some
since
shit
like
out.
2005.
Yeah. I thought Julius Jones had a good rookie year. I'm trying to think.
These do go back a little bit though.
Deep
The
cuts.
last 2.
Who's the Staubach?
No, not that far back.
Okay, that was deep back.
Yeah. I don't think. Did he even wear a face mask?
I don't know.
Did he ever play in like color TV?
Actually, Roger Staubach, Cincinnati guy, went to Purcell Marion High School.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
All right. Positions? What are the positions of these guys?
Running back
Both running
is
backs.
well, one's running back. I got to look up who the other one is.
Those are deep cuts.
They are deep cuts.
God, running back. Not recently, though. It was an old running back.
Yeah, both running backs. Just looked it up.
What years? What were the years of them?
Uh,
I'm really digging deep for the hints.
one of them is 74 years old
Kill me. Kill me.
currently.
I don't care. What is it?
Who are they?
Tony Dorsett.
Okay, fine.
See, I thought that would have been the one that you would get. And then Calvin Hill.
Oh, Calvin Hill, one of my favorite players.
Yeah, I mean, who could forget that?
I mean, Calvin Hill literally changed the game.
Dorsett, I fucked up. That's on there.
Yeah. All right, last one from Eric Durr on Twitter.
ED.
Aiden Hutchinson could become the 3rd Michigan Wolverine ever taken #1 overall. The first was Tom Harmon, a running back in 1942, which again, I mean,
My king.
who doesn't remember
I remember that one.
Who was the second?
Jake Long.
Yeah, Jake Long.
Jake Long was sick.
Jake Long
For
was
like
sick.
a few years, and
Yeah.
his knees went to shit. But
Yeah, all pro, 4-time Pro Bowler.
yeah.
That's it. That's all I got.
No, your co-host.
Oh, I didn't bring one this week. What's yours?
I remember we were talking a little bit before the show what my favorite, what like your all-time Christmas present was. What was mine as a kid?
What was yours?
I thought of it if I remember. The one I was like most shocked by and most excited for.
Oh, okay. I don't know. You got a Brasser subscription.
As a child?
know
No.
if your dad-
Well, given with how young you
dad's
are,
into some
Brazzers
stuff.
probably was around.
So as a kid, I had to live in a different home for a little bit. So I was being like kind of like fostered by a friend's family.
Yeah.
And it was my first Christmas with their family. And I was a big Clay Matthews guy. Remember I had the sack celebration
Yeah.
kind of like Clay Matthews? They got me a fat head the size of like that window of Clay Matthews celebrating a sack. And like I had a bed like on the ground and it literally took up my entire wall. So I slept next to Clay Matthews for like 2 years. It was fucking lit.
I think I had
It was
Clay Matthews.
very, very cool.
I had Clay
I tried to
Matthews
take
at
it with
college.
me when I went off to college.
Yeah.
But
Those
like
don't
taking
move.
off the wall, it was a joke.
They used to advertise you could just pull it off and put it back up.
Nah.
No. Those were up once they were up.
Our fat head's still cool. If I got one for my studio apartment, I'm talking to like the girls out in Cincinnati, the single girls. Like, would you guys be cool with it? Like, if Clay Matthews was like on my ceiling or something, just let me know. Just shoot me a DM.
Fatheads had a day. And they're like cheap now. $30 for a fathead. They used to be like $100.
What, should I get you a bunch of fat heads? Just every Packers player.
No.
Jordan Love,
Please, God,
We
no.
get you all of Jordan Love's fat heads.
All right, I came up with one that's in the similar vein. But what was the first ever football video game I got was not Madden. It was 1997 what game for Nintendo 64?
97?
Yeah.
Was it like the original Mario?
Football game.
Oh, Blitz.
No. Blitz was like my second football game.
Can I take a guess?
Yeah.
NFL Quarterback Club.
Quarterback Club.
What the hell is that?
NFL QB Club 98 was my big one.
Was it cool?
It was fucking awesome.
Quarterback Club was sweet.
First game I think I ever had was like on the Sega Dreamcast. I might have had like Sonic or something. I think Sonic was like the first game I ever had.
2K was sweet on the Dreamcast.
Dreamcast was
I
lit.
like changed the
Bring
game
back the
2Ks.
Dreamcast. That's going to do it for today's show. What an awesome show. Thanks again for the pre-workout. I think I'm going to leave it in here for now. but then bring it back. Until next time, until after Christmas, make sure you have a happy Christmas, holidays, etc. Have fun with the fam, eat a ton of food, and come back ready to rip it up with the boys on Tailgate. Until next time, Austin Gayle, Mike Renner, Tailgate.
Happy Honda Days.
Honda Days?